What kind of alternate universe does The View live in? I've never seen the panel lose itself like this in a long time, when both Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg threw the most childish tantrum over Donald Trump just as he looks likely to win the election. But I think their words revealed more than they wanted to, so take a look at what happened on the panel this week before I tell you more about it.
She's only been around for like a little short time.
Well, that's the other thing. She'd been around 20 minutes, let's say.
Yeah.
Right.
She suddenly became the nominee. She's got to get up on top of stuff. She has to now think as a presidential candidate and not the vice presidential candidate. Just, you know what? If you don't know what you're doing now, I don't know what else to tell you.
Right.
I don't know what else to tell you.
You mean the voters? The voters?
Yeah. You know, if you're not sure, you know, I see, but if you're not sure by now, I don't know what else it is people are looking for. She has turned herself inside out practically to meet she's met everybody that nobody thought she would meet. She went she's seeing Joe Rogan. She went
she shows up,
she's
which
going
is more
and
than we
she's
can
talking.
say about Trump.
And so, you know, she's doing the best she can with what she's got. And if it's not good enough, then we're in trouble.
Is this some kind of joke? Even some of the biggest names in left-wing media today won't deny the fact that Kamala Harris's media strategy has betrayed whatever political ambitions that she had. Kamala hasn't turned herself inside out in front of the public. It's precisely the opposite, because voters are still struggling to pin her down on any issue or policy position that isn't wrapped in some confusing word salad. We're keeping a close eye on it, by the way, so subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to never miss an update. Now, I think that's an interesting tangent into the media strategy of these current political candidates, which anyone not cocooned in a fancy studio could recognize. Kamala Harris has declined to go on the Joe Rogan Experience and seems to be refusing any attempt at a long-form podcast conversation other than crafted and managed television interviews. On the other end, you've got not just Donald Trump engaging in long-form podcasts, but even the larger campaign where notable Republican figures are going straight into the hornet's nest with places like CNN and MSNBC. While on the other end, whoever's managing the Kamala campaign's media strategy needs to be fired. That's because in a bid to craft the most perfect and artificial media image, they've let the cat out of the bag at how fake the entire campaign is. That's what happened when Brett Breyer was asked by Kamala's aides to stop the interview when Maria Shriver slipped up by saying that she'll only take pre-written questions, and even when on a recent CNN town hall when Anderson Cooper pushed back against Kamala Harris slightly, sending her into a frantic meltdown that made no sense.
The vice president was also answering Anderson's question,
absolutely.
which is, do you believe he is a fascist? Yes, I do. So what is she supposed to do? Not answer that question?
In this business, I'm still on the fence. I'm still on the fence. Get off the fence, all right? It's a presidential candidate with credentials versus some kind of a nutcase. That's what you grew up against. Stop with the fence already. I'm sick of it. I can't take this anymore.
To Whoopi's point,
you see, I'm having a breakdown. I cannot wait for election day so I can sleep at night.
Well, I hate to break it to you, Joy Behar, but she may not only really be able to sleep so well on election night because the latest polls coming out reveal Donald Trump trailing behind Kamala Harris slightly in the national polls, well within the margin of error, but leading to the swing state polls. And remember, that is the final stretch of the election campaign over the last 3 weeks. Donald Trump's graph has seen a slight rise while Kamala has seen a drop in the polls, and a lot of people are blaming it on the string of failed interviews she's done with legacy media and a successful media strategy on part of Donald Trump. And for The View, this race is too close for comfort. That's why Joy Behar just called for a so-called blue tsunami on election day, so there's none of that nail-biting anxiety as the final numbers come in.
Sonny, we need a blue tsunami because if it's close, we're going to have all of this stuff going on.
You're going to have this stuff.
I believe
you're going to have this stuff going on anyway.
Not if it's huge.
No, not even if you do remember that this man cannot see the forest for the trees.
Yes.
He knows he lost the last time, and for the last 4 years, all we've heard is, I won, they were mean to me, they were mean to me, I won, I won, I won, I won, I won. You lost! But you lost! Dude!
I'm not sure you wanted to see that cringe-induced meltdown, but you had to, and you shouldn't be surprised because this is painfully similar to the kind of meltdowns we saw on air back in 2016. The only difference is that when the panel still seems just as tone-deaf to why the Democratic Party is failing to court the centrist independents. And perhaps that difference is the most stark in this election. I think over the last decade, long-form conversations have become even more important for voter engagement than short and segmented news interviews where it's impossible to go into any issue at length If you think about it, even figures on left-wing online media are recognizing the successful media strategy of Donald Trump, especially his appearance on Joe Rogan that has amassed tens of millions of views in a couple days. In fact, even Cenk Uygur of all people spoke about how personable Donald Trump looked during the podcast.
I thought Trump looked presidential and personable. I hate that, but he did.
And that was always the point of these conversations, to court the independent middle of the electorate, which has the power to swing the election either way in this thin margin. That's something that The View apparently does not understand, especially because they seem as closed off themselves politically as Kamala Harris.
I say she's disciplined. I want someone who's disciplined near the nuclear codes. I want someone who is moderate near the nuclear codes. And so all this criticism that she's getting makes it very clear to me that not only is it a binary choice, people are holding her to this different standard, because you have a maniac on the other side talking about they're eating the pets and all these dog whistles, and you have someone else that's talking about their dog whistles. See what I did there?
I saw that.
And they're all, but on the other side, she's talking about policies. And to blame her for the state of immigration and not solving immigration, I thought her answer was masterful. They were trying to get a bill accomplished that Trump now is running on. He's running on failures at the border. You know why? Because he is the one that stopped the bill from passing. And let's not forget that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, he just has to. He doesn't even have to appear sane. That's the bar at this point. She has to appear presidential and everything you just said.
He'd have to prepare for that.
He would. So. He'd have to really work on being sane, because he seems insane. And he doesn't show up for anything. He didn't show up for a debate. He doesn't show up for a town hall. Does he have bone spurs again, do you think? I mean, I'm wondering.
Possible.
So, no, imagine if Kamala didn't show up. Imagine if she said the things that he said. I mean, the name calling. We'll see later. We're going to show that video of the woman on the fence, these types who are on the fence still. Yeah. I'd like to see that later.
Well, I was, being completely honest, frustrated a little bit watching the town hall, because she is relying heavily on talking points beyond disciplined script. I just wanted her I wanted to feel a little more. I could answer her before she did, because obviously we consume a lot of her right now, and the answers were the same every time. And I think when people say they don't know her, it's not her biography. They know her, but they don't know where she stands on certain things that are very critical.
And finally, some semblance of sanity from the panel with Sarah Haynes. It's the most fundamental recognition of reality in this election that the Democratic Party's campaign trail has been disastrous if they wanted to portray a more likable and relatable image of Kamala Harris, but even more so, it says a lot more that no one can still really put a finger on what she's exactly going to do on vital issues like the foreign wars, the border crisis, or the economy. Let me know in the comments if you agree, and share the video with people that would love to see this meltdown before The View's live reactions on the night of November 5th.